So pre-season testing at Catalonia is just about wrapping up here ahead of the 2018 Formula 1 season. So let's take you through the new grid ahead of the first round and also run you through the pecking order after this week's shakedown. For the 2018 season, the regulations have been shaked up, so you'll notice the cars look different from 2017 and also will sport a brand new V6 Mark II engine, so things have changed quite a bit for the engine order. You'll notice that the top teams across the field have also changed title sponsors quite dramatically, as 2018 is set to be the most lucrative and expensive season yet, as every team is really battling hard for competitive lap times. So out of the blocks, the fastest teams appear to be Ferrari and McLaren, with both teams keeping constant with their driver lineups for 2018. Ferrari have apparently got a small margin of performance over the McLarens for their engine power with an improved turbo deployment. There were doubts over Vettel staying at Ferrari after a dismal 3 years really with the Scuderia since he joined in 2015, but both parties think 2018 can finally be the year things start to click. And at McLaren, after a 1-2 showing in the finale of 2017, they're confident their aero is just as good as this year, and that Honda have actually made a step forward and brought another solid engine for this new era. The reigning world champion ARAVA decided his future just before New Year and is now at the newly named Red Bull Aston Martin racing team alongside Pierre Gasly. The paddock questioned the move following Red Bull's inconsistencies over 2016 and 2017, and who's to forget also the error they made with Gasly's pit stop, but ARAV has said that he has faith in Red Bull's roadmap for the future. Red Bull and Aston Martin's partnership has grown stronger, and there have been rumours that Aston Martin might be thinking about making a custom engine along with Red Bull. But for now they stick with the Tag Heuer branded Renault engine, which has improved vastly for all teams. ARAV was only able to join Red Bull after it was announced Verstappen would be swapping to Mercedes for 2018. Of course, ARAV announced quite early on after Japan last season that he would not be re-signing a deal with Mercedes, and so they were quick to act to snap up a driver. It was a match made in heaven, with Mercedes looking for a top driver and Verstappen so frustrated with Red Bull after his reliability issues, which saw him have an engine blowout at the Australian Grand Prix, the penultimate round of last season. Partnering Verstappen is the returning Wehrlein, who's been reinstated to the Silver Arrows after his short demotion in 2017. We mentioned Toro Rosso earlier. They've actually kept the same lineup as last year with Giovinazzi and Sainz in the car. They've shown great pace this season, and Christian Horner of Red Bull has actually stated that Toro Rosso have gone for the low drag route and says that you should not be surprised when one of the Italian bulls passes one of his cars in a straight line. Red Bull are looking like to be in third place in the pecking order, just behind the McLarens and Ferraris, but surprisingly Toro Rosso look to be right behind them in fourth place. Red Bull, however, has an advantage. With them being the biggest team using a Renault engine, they have some leeway to get further upgrades faster than Toro Rosso, and Christian Horner is confident that eventually Red Bull will overtake Toro Rosso in straight line speed pace. Speaking of Renault, they keep Kevin Magnussen alongside as one of their main drivers, with now Nico Hülkenberg, the German jumping ship from Alfa Romeo, to sign for Renault after expressing he wants to drive for a factory-built team and wants to really get stuck in with the development of the car, something he simply couldn't do at Alfa Romeo. Speaking of Alfa Romeo, after a decent first season as their new branded team, they've kept on Mick Schumacher after he did a solid job getting points last year, and Ferrari have stepped in and have promoted Leclerc up to partner Schumacher. Ferrari believe both of them could be the next rising stars in a couple of years' time. A new American team joins the sport in the form of Haas F1. You might have noticed Grosjean jumped ship from Renault. He's now driving for Haas Formula 1. Alongside him is former IndyCar driver Joseph Newgarden, who many believe is merely a PR opportunity to get a well-known American driver in their team. Force India stick with their 2017 lineup of Perez and Ocon, and Williams stick with Bottas as their main driver, with junior Lance Stroll partnering him for 2018. Both teams look to be at the same place on the grid as they were in 2017, unfortunately for them, with it important to note that all the new Mercedes engines for 2018 have deployment power issues. Mercedes have promised though there will be upgrades to these engines across the board to ensure all teams see a boost in performance. But experts in the paddock expect that Mercedes themselves will firstly bring upgrades to their car, prioritising their performance, and that you could even see a boost in performance already by the first round. Rosberg, who was formerly at Williams and was briefly back in the Silver Arrows in 2017 to replace Wehrlein after his demotion, has now jumped ship completely from either of those two teams and has taken one final chance for his career in a brand new team. Manor Racing, suffering from huge debt over the last 2 years after trying too much on R&D when they didn't have the funding for it, have been bought out by Audi and over the winter have been transformed into Audi Racing GP. Rosberg has been announced as their new main driver to spearhead the new project. Alongside him will be the Russian Sergei Sorokin, and over the winter Audi brought out their own brand new V6 engine for the 2018 season and say their goal is to simply score some points over this first season, as they've decided to bring an all new staff and all new aero department to the team, and so they know that it'll be quite a struggle to really achieve anything more in the very first season. So that's the story of pre-season testing and the show of the brand new grid for 2018. With all these different changes to the cars and regulations and all these different sponsors and driver changes, 2018 is probably set to be even bigger than 2017 was.